Hey guys, so today I'll be showing you how to make this very material before your own eyes. And keep in mind, this is gonna be just a run through. I will not go in detail with anything as of now. I will probably make a full video of this, but it will come out later. So this is just so you can understand some of the main principles of creating this kind of stylized material, and in general a lot of stylized materials at all. So we start with a simple tile sampler, and this tile sampler is gonna have a square pattern in it, and we randomize size and rotation and position and a lot of stuff, so you can figure that out. We put it into a distance node, and we do a directional warp with crystal 1. So here we kind of get a bit more natural rock looking shapes, as you can see. After that we do edge detect, and I did a lot of edge width because I wanted it to be space for something underneath, like grass in this case here. After that we do the standard bevel and levels, so we make these edges better looking. And after that we do a float fill, and with float fill we do float fill to gradient with a bunch of random angle variations, and we sculpt them with a blend node on minimal darken. And you can see how it kind of sculpts the shape. See, it has more and more sides. And after that we are going into a non-uniform blur with our invert grayscale and histogram scan. So it just to fix up the edges a little bit, as you can see, just to kind of blur them a bit. After that we're gonna go into auto levels, and after auto levels we are subtracting this tile sampler here. And what this tile sampler is just simple paraboloid pattern with a lot of random position put into auto levels and a little bit of levels, just a touch of it, so you can control, and then subtracting it. After that we're doing a directional warp with a similar setup over here, just with more samples of the paraboloid, and we're just warping it so we kind of get a bit of a natural feel for rocks as well. Here, the directional warp, sorry. And after that we're doing a warp, and this warp is pretty much the most important thing that gets us that stylized look. So if you can see, it turns this very normal looking material that can be anything into a pretty stylized looking material. Now of course this is not the whole process of creating a stylized material, but it plays a big role. After that we go into auto levels, and after that we do levels with histogram scan and blend them together, so we bring out the white parts, white tops a bit more. And after that we do a subtract, and we subtract pretty much these crevices, as you can see. These crevices are subtracted. Well, I wanted to make some more space for the grass, to be honest, and I wanted the float fill to work perfectly, or at least better. And after that we are getting our float fill node, and again float fill to gradient with a bunch of variation and levels, and then into auto levels. As you can see, this is a pretty standard thing I do. It's just same thing repeated over and over again. And after that we get these edges that we subtract from the actual main noise. And now I did it only 2 times. You can do it how many times you want. See, I can plug this here, and it will be more subtracted. As you can see, it will be different. You can experiment with these, but these do give a cool look in the end. So definitely mess around with these and see how your material performs with them. After that, what we are doing is we are adding the details, and the details here are just simple scratches which are made with the waveform into the bevel, and we kind of scatter them around, and we did auto levels to bring them out a little bit, as you can see. And it's a very small number here on subtract, so you can see how visible it is even though it's this small, so don't go overboard on this one. After that we added these details, as you can see, these kind of crevices and these cracks and whatnot, and these are made we simply made a disc pattern and scattered it across the whole plane, We did a distance node and created this kind of thing. Edge detect with a bit of edge roundness, as you can see. After that, directional warp with Berlin noise and another Berlin noise with directional warp. You can mess around with these. You can even try Gaussian. Like with this, in this part, you can really mess around with this. And after that, another directional warp with crystal. So it creates all these more natural looking ones. As you can see, we went from this to this with just a few simple nodes. And then we invert grayscale and we have this whole kind of map. But this is not what we want yet. We want the actual... we want to be actually able to apply it a bit better. This would create weird crevices. This would be too hard. So we did a bevel to kind of lower it, and then auto levels to bring out the detail. And as you can see, we went from this looking thing to this much better and much more natural looking sort of cracks. And then we subtracted it. Again, a very small number here. And after that, we did a height blend. And the height blend here is pretty much the height from the grass we made before. And I did levels, so just to bring out the actual levels, because as you can see, this was way too dark for the actual material, so I just had to bring it here a little bit. And I just did a height blend, and I found that contrast 1.8 is pretty good, because if you put it too high, I will show you, it looks like they're kind of two separate materials. If you put it too low, it looks like the grass is growing out of the rocks. But you can experiment. It's up to experimentation. I found that 0.8, even maybe 0.7 looks pretty good for what we need here. Because see, now the grass kind of goes all over the rocks, and it doesn't look that unnatural. So after that, we will be heading into our albedo. And I know it's a bit messy, but bear with me for a second. So before we added the grass, we actually plugged these nodes. So we plugged ambient occlusion, normal, and another ambient occlusion. And you see kind of a difference here. We plugged the normal all the way from here because I didn't want those crevices and whatnot in this normal map. And let's start with the main thing, which is this here. So we did a flood fill from this ambient occlusion, and we did flood fill to random grayscale, creating this this look. And after that, I could really just plug this in here. You really don't need this extra step, but I just keep this as a quick way to change stuff. So if I want to change something here or here, so I can do it real quick. But literally, you could have just plug a flood fill to random grayscale and plug it in. As you can see, nothing changes. And that is our main albedo. So on top of that, we blend it with this map here, which we made with the histogram scan and then invert grayscale, which basically just makes these crevices pop out. As you can see, we have those kind of pop out a little bit, as you can see, from this to this. Oh, sorry, this. And this is just a gradient map, so we turn this into a color input. After that, this is the main texturing here, pretty much, and this is just ambient occlusion and quantize, then slow blur into blur, and into another quantize grayscale. And it's a pretty cool node to make some cool looking albedo maps, so definitely give it a go when you're trying to color something in that is stylized, because it gives us this kind of natural look really quickly, as you can see, and it really looks like somebody actually painted it natural. After that, we are adding this highlight, and this highlight is made by using the normal, curvature smooth, and into a histogram scan, and you can see these kind of popping shapes here. Just bear in mind, this is on OpenGL, not on DirectX. So this is on OpenGL, I think, as well. Oh, it's not. Okay, sorry. This is DirectX. You can play with these as well. Like it's not a big deal. if you can always play around and see how they look, but still this kind of brings out again these good shapes of rocks and whatnot, and as you can see it really makes the whole thing pop much better, much better. And after that we are getting another bit of coloring here, and what we are using is a curvature into a histogram scan, slope blur with fractal sum here, and we do a histogram scan and we create this sort of map that makes this just a tiny bit lighter, as you can see. And yeah, as you can see, don't crank it up too much. It should be on a low value because it just brings out the colors a little bit better and makes it look more natural looking. Because see, now you can see all these small textures appearing, and it might not look good from up close, but when you look from a further distance, it really makes sense that you do this. And after that, it's a simple blend here. It's a simple blend node. We are blending the two masks together based on this height blend mask here, and we're gonna do it multiple times. You will see actually. So here, this albedo is done, so we don't need to do anything. After that, we are bringing out the normal map before let me track it here. So this here, we are bringing it before we did any addition of the grass, and we could just plug in the normal, the added one and whatnot, but I like the ability to actually control the strengths of the the normal maps and maps in general, because now I can put these to 20. But imagine if these were put to 20 intensity. Look at, I mean, it doesn't look the worst, but I prefer it that I have a lower value for these, because they look way smoother, and just having that control is really good for me, and generally for editing materials. So when you can control it, just you know, it doesn't hurt to put a few nodes in to control the output a bit more. And we do the same exact thing for ambient occlusion, and for ambient occlusion it's actually really important, because this grass material, how it works, it will look very odd if we bump this to a high number. As you can see, it looks it doesn't look smooth anymore. So we keep that on a low number and we blend it using the same exact mask for blending the albedo and the normal map. And that way we create this this really good looking maps that we can control. Because here I can maybe put this on a way higher value if I would want to. It's just a question of control. So it is always good to have. So don't really go out and not do it if you can. So yeah. And basically, this is it. I hope you liked the video, and I hope I see you very soon. More videos are coming very soon. Don't worry, and see you guys next time. See ya, boys. If you liked the video and would want to learn more about creation of these materials, you would be stoked to see my Skillshare course linked down in the description. Oh, and if you use my link, you will be able to watch the course completely for free. Have a wonderful day.